be dark times at the US box office, but then Riddick can see in the dark. You're watching Beyond the Trailer's review of his latest movie. As many actors have discovered, if you want to keep your career going, you've got to take it into your own hands, usually as a producer. Both Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt have found great success with this approach, while Vin Diesel, not as much. His first producing effort, XXX, sought to create an urban James Bond, but instead almost torpedoed Diesel's career. Likewise, the revenge flick A Man Apart also failed to connect. But one of his earlier films, Pitch Black, had made a small but strong connection with fans. So Diesel stepped up to produce a sequel which did some serious world building for the franchise, The Chronicles of Riddick. And while that film did only a little better at the box office than Pitch Black, over time it continued to win over fans. Plus it featured another underappreciated fan-favorite actor, Karl Urban. Nevertheless, Diesel found himself adrift after The Chronicles of Riddick, starring in solid family hit The Pacifier before the far less successful Find Me Guilty in Babylon AD. But then, because enough was enough already, Diesel came on board as a producer for the Fast and Furious movies, reviving the franchise in 2009. And boy, did it roar back to life, delivering the franchise's best worldwide numbers to date. Since then, Diesel has produced 2 more entries, each more successful than the last. So now, Diesel is hoping some of Dom's success can rub off on Riddick as he produces a 3rd film. And Diesel, along with Riddick creator David Twohy, are working to reward their loyal fan base as they stick to the original mythos and an R rating just like the first film. Karl Urban also returns while professional fighter Dave Bautista joins before he's set to make it big in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Fan favorite Katie Sackhoff also stars, who's in need of a second chance herself after failing to find a viable franchise post-Battlestar Galactica. And in an effort to win over new fans, Riddick goes for fanboy cachet with an IMAX release. But it's the original fans who contacted Diesel online to tell him they wanted another Riddick movie, even if it had to be made on a shoestring budget, which Riddick pretty much was blockbuster-wise at around $40 million. Their hearts might have been in the right place, but was that good advice or bad?
I have never seen a Riddick movie before, and my takeaway is that he's like Batman crossed with Wolverine, which is a pretty good idea for a splice. But this movie surprised me. It ended up kind of being like a sci-fi western, and it was very true to the tropes of both genres. However, overall, the movie was just too slow-paced, and I tried to be a good sport about it, and I think I held on for as long as I could. But towards like the end of the film, or what I thought was the end, there's this scene where a speeder bike breaks down, and Vin Diesel turns to the guy he's with and he's like, "We're gonna have to take the long way back." And I was like, no, I thought this movie was almost over, and it lost me. I couldn't take it anymore. Not to say there weren't good moments in the film. As I said, it was just too slow. There just wasn't enough story. And when there was story, even though it stayed true to the genres, it was just a little too derivative. There weren't a lot of original ideas. But I will say that for $40 million, this movie looks good. Very well utilized in terms of the special effects. I think maybe once or twice I noticed something was a green screen, but you know, that's just nitpicking. They did a good job here. All the characters also were very well realized, the special effects characters. There was also a lot of interaction with special effects characters, and you couldn't tell that one character was digital, which was impressive because, you know, of course, the Star Wars prequels are the most infamous for, you know, actors clearly interacting with tennis balls on a pole. But here, Vin Diesel especially had to interact with like a dog that he adopts and like a space dog, which was very well realized, both in terms of animation and their interactions. They did a really nice job with that. And there were good moments, you know, and I also thought the world building was good. And I really appreciated the way the arsenal was developed for the mercenaries. Their weapons, a lot of attention was paid to how they worked and what kind of weapons they would have and how they would maybe break. And so I really liked all of that. I just wish there had been a better narrative structure. And the actors did a nice job. I mean, I respect the craftsmanship that went into this movie. But I have to say that if you're not a big diehard Riddick fan, I just think the movie's too slow for you. And also, I would recommend it before, if you do see this film, to rent the first 2 films, because there's like this reveal in it, and I think you're supposed to be like, oh wow, oh no. But I was just like, okay. I mean, they never really explained the importance to new viewers, so I was just like, who's that guy? What did he say his name was? Why is that important? I guess we'll find out. And we kind of did. But yeah, so nice job, Vin Diesel. I mean, since I've never seen a Riddick movie before, I can't tell you how it compares to the other films. Although I will say, if you're a Carl Urban fan, and I am, and that's part of the reason I was excited to see this, prepare to be disappointed, because he's only on screen for like a snippet of time. And I was sad that he clearly had aged a lot in 9 years. Maybe he was just having an off day. I felt kind of bad. But Vin Diesel looks exactly the same. And he did a nice job. Vin Diesel, and I have to admit, the eyes on Riddick, the eyes that see in the dark, that's a very cool, clever effect. I think it really is like the highlight of the character. And it was a good idea, and it still is done well. So that's my review of Riddick. If you've seen the film, write your thoughts down below, and I hope you'll check out these other episodes right now.